Hi, welcome everyone to another episode of Let's Talk Special Economic Zones. I'm your host, Ainsley Brown. Today's episode, I want to talk to you about the G in ESG. That's governance, particularly in relation to zones. And I want to say that with the G for governance in ESG, when it applies to zones is much more than corporate governance. Corporate governance is very important. Corporate governance being how a company is run. Are they following the rules that particularly internal and external rules? The rules of the Companies Act, the legislation that enables them to have the status of being a company in whichever jurisdiction that is. Uh, and also the internal rules, their bylaws and so forth that they've laid out. How frequent are they having meetings that they say the meetings are to be quarterly? Are they actually doing that? Yes or no? That's very, very important and very critical. However, because of the nature of zones, and that is whatever you want to call the zones, whether it's a special economic zone, free zone, enterprise zone, foreign trade zone, whatever, it's the same thing in terms of, special customs duties and so forth, being applied to it, or special fiscal incentives or financial incentives. It depends on the regime being applied to it. It's slightly different than what the rest of the economy would have. Now, when it comes to these, because you have been granted these privileges, the government, and sometimes it's the government itself, because some regimes, the actual government, um, not only regulates the zones, but actually run the zones and own the zones. It's one and the same in some, or they may divide it whereby, um, there is a regulator that's a different entity, and then there's another government entity that owns and operates the zone, or they may just own it but don't operate it. And then there's the entities that actually operate from the zones, that occupy the zone and do their activities. Now, when it comes to that, those privileges that have been granted, there's a certain expectation, and as such, and this is where the thing about ESG is that it ought not to be thought of as silos. So it's not just environment over here, social there, and then governance over here. They all overlap. So, for example, you have environmental governance. Are you abiding by the laws of the land when it comes to the environment? And the thing is, when it comes to the laws of the land, those are the base. Those are the um, bare minimum. Those are the floor, not the ceiling. And companies should be looking to exceed them. When it comes to zones, as I said, there, because of the nature of zones, there's a little bit more expected, a little bit more because of the privileges that you have been granted, in terms of, um, investments, and in terms of paying your taxes. Sometimes not all zones are zero tax. Um, uh, you will have signed a contract, and then that becomes part of the governance framework that governs you. Are you abiding by the terms of that contract? Um, because countries have set up regimes in order to get a certain benefit from it. And are you, the investor, fulfilling that side of the bargain? And likewise, the government too, if they're following ESG principles, are they following the governance, providing the services and so forth that they've promised? So it's a give and take situation. So if you like this episode, please like, share, subscribe. If you want to see me do a particular topic, just leave your message down below and I'll get right back to you.